Hi, my name is Dana and I'm going to give you a review of the movie Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey since Margot Robbie once again reprising her role as Harley Quinn. She was early the best part of Suicide Squad, so it only makes sense, and after breaking up with the Joker, she joins Black Canary Hunters and Rena Montoya to save young girl from an evil crime lord, also known as Black Mask, played by Edward McGregor. Since Suicide Squad didn't really work for most people, this seems to be DC and Warner Brothers' attempt to take what they were trying to do with that film, wake a group of people who don't really have the best moral compass and pit them against somebody who's worse than them while trading a lot of one-liners and being a little edgy. Except this time we actually get an R rating and we have a new group of people, but they took the one thing about that movie that really worked and put in this one. Margot Robbie is once again fantastic as Harley Quinn, and I can imagine a better portrayal of her in live actions. She is great in the fight scenes. She is suitably psychotic and ungiant in all the right ways, and this is strange because it's not really a Birds of Prey movie for a few different reasons. I'm not super well versed in the source material, and I'm not gonna act like but I don't know that there have been a lot of change pushing that aside because that had absolutely no effect on me. I'm only braiding it up because it might on you if you love these characters. The main reasons this doesn't feel like a Birds of Prey to me, it's because it's a Harley Quinn movie. This is absolutely a movie focused entirely around her and the whole team up thing happens right towards the end of the movie. In fact, almost the end of the movie, and so it doesn't really feel like a Birds of Prey origin story, even because so much of it's centered on Harley, and the first 20 minutes of the movie is basically she's very bitter about the Joker and she's causing a lot of problems as usual. And it's interesting because as I watched this movie I could have but think about the fact that most of the movie or on the side of a psychopath who is a murderer, they definitely dull her down a little bit there, and admittedly a awesome action scene where the breaks into a police station and she shots a bunch of cops, but she's using those dummy around, so they do try to make it seem like she would necessarily just kill random people, even though she does blow a truck into a chemical factory in the beginning of the movie without even know if any works in there, and could have potentially killed hundreds of people, but we don't really know because that's not important to the plot like this. So I could help but think about the initial reaction to the Joker movie, the fact that so many people were complaining that we were watching a killer, so or sitting with someone who decides to become a killer and his or main characters. I kind of feel the same way throughout this whole movie. I mean, Harley Quinn's a psychopath. She was Joker's right hand girl for a long time. The idea that we're watching what is basically a Harley Quinn movie doesn't bother me in the slightest. In fact, I found that pretty entertaining. I'm just surprised that so many critics changed their tune so quickly. If all of you do is shift the movie's tone from serious to light-hearted, it's this a little hypocritical to me. I guess where this movie shines is its action sequence. A lot of the fight scenes are filmed very well. You can see everything that's going on. The stunts are really impressive. It's also a very colorful movie. The cinematography and the color palette is really expressive. When she dummy runs, they load with confetti and blue and red bursts of smoke, and so the movie looks really wonderful. Where the movie falters to me was characterization. They focus heavily on Harley Quinn, and you understand her psychosis and what she is going through, and they do a pretty good job of putting you in her head, sometimes too much in her head, with some very excessive voiceover that makes the movie bounce back and forth like a pinball in a machine. You never really feel exactly like you watching a movie that has a plot that continually moving. There's a part about 30 minutes in where she says, hold on, for you understand the importance of this. I'm gonna have to make you back a little bit, and then we watch like another 15 minutes maybe before we revert back to where we just were, and I can be hard to follow sometimes. That could be because they're trying to put on the mind of Harley and sort of make you feel how chaotic her brains is, but to me it's the most simple way of the telling a story. Have a character narrate every single bit of it. You don't have to show that much happening to characters if you let it telling so us everything. And so it's harder to get endeared to them. The characterization is where has result. You and McGregor is definitely over the top as Black Mask, but again, I don't really know anything about him. He's just kind of a really terrible person, and so yeah, you want to see him get punched in the face and taken off, but you don't really know why. It's just because he's an asshole. So I don't really think there was a lot of care given to develop these characters at all, although the course of this script. It's a really impressive looking movie, and it's a fun movie to watch if you want to sit back and watch these people kick people in the face a lot of, but for the most part I just couldn't get behind any of the characters except for Harley Quinn, because there's very little attempts to make us care about them. If you have a guy who's an asshole, and his cutting of people face, which is what he's doing in this movie, and he's just terrible to everyone, including his own associate. There's just nothing interesting about him, and that's one of the biggest issues with taking a story like this, having your main characters not really be heroes. It's like, yeah, Harley Quinn definitely killed people before, and she is certainly a criminal, but that guy is way worse, isn't the he it's that Ocean's 11 things where, yeah, you're with all of the criminals, but you're okay with it because Andy Garcia is a um, stupid prick, and unfortunately, that only works if you teams is entertaining as say the team in Ocean's 11. It only works if you really truly care about the black and forth between them, and the dialogue just is not strong enough. It's just not there, and I haven't really gotten to my biggest issue with the movie yet, and it's basically that it's so plot driven and so not character driven that you expect the plot to be something kind of special, but it's literally just a kid who's a pickpocket stole a diamond from the wrong guy, and the guy wants the diamond back. I have seen that so many times in movie, maybe not in that exact way, but the idea of hunting for a specific diamond, or somebody needs a jewel that was taken in just the most overset plot. And when your movie is completely plot driven and your plot is a basic, I had a hard time carrying, although I like looking at everything in this movie, and I think that it was directed very well, and I was surprised honestly to see that it has such a high Rotten Tomatoes rating until I clicked on more info and saw the average rating, and when that actually makes more sense to me. Metacritic also, that rating makes more sense to me, but that's the Rotten Tomatoes thing. You know, if you have 200 people that say a movie okay, and every single one of them think it's okay, it's still gonna get 100%, and I try not to think too heavily into the whole Rotten Tomatoes. Critic think, in fact, I rarely even read other people's reviews until I've done it myself, but I couldn't help but see the tomato meter and notice well that hater than jokers that about the same as Wonder Woman, so this must be definitely on the higher end of DC films, but I liked Aquaman and Shazam and Wonder Woman more. I'm gonna get Birds of Prey see more. So guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews.